How high does Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all of blockchain go? That is the big question I'm going to answer for you today. And I'm going to tell you how we're handling that with our ugly unicorn hedge fund. So everyone, good morning. Queuing up. Also, thank you for all the prayers for my daughter Naya. She went in for a pretty insane surgery at the hospital yesterday. And so I went completely offline. But don't worry, all of our investor positions were in place and our team was managing things wonderfully well. And we made a lot of money for our ugly unicorn crypto hedge fund investors yesterday. So I'm going to refer down to my laptop computer here. So I'll be looking down a little bit to give you some updates. So get your pen and pad ready. And one thing I ask you to do, if you find this thing valuable, please share it on your social media so other people can be educated. I'm also going to talk about security in this video too, because so much money has been hacked from people. It's crazy. So let's get right down to it. BlackRock acquired over $778 million in Bitcoin on Tuesday. I was talking about how the inflows were maybe 50 million a day. Well, the inflows actually from Bitcoin mining was about $50 million, and the inflows into the ETFs were about 500 million a day. So it's far surpassed that, and I think it's going to continue to accelerate. I've explained in previous videos why, but basically, if you look at BlackRock and a lot of these, got my bird screaming at me here. Let me try to migrate to the other part of the home here. So we'll give you a little tour here as we go. But I'm going to explain to you why it takes a little bit of time for BlackRock and a lot of these big institutional ETFs to take in the inflow here. Let's find a little bit more of a secure place here to give you this update. So thank you for your patience here while I transport myself into my office here. Here we go. I've got wild parrots, so they like to scream sometimes. They're actually just talking to me in parrot language. So, okay. Thank you for your patience, my friends. All right, so over $700 million inflow into the ETFs last Tuesday. So that's pretty incredible. I'll post that in the caption below so you can have some actual data. You can verify and double check if you like. Now, one thing that a lot of our investors or potential investors ask me is like, why should I invest in the ugly unicorn crypto hedge fund versus just buying Bitcoins myself or Ethereum or whatever they're buying? The big problem that people have is yield. So for example, when you buy Bitcoin, it's like buying real estate, let's say. Let's use this metaphor. If you bought a building and you're not collecting rents, you would be crazy. If you bought a building just hoping it went up in price, right? Now, obviously, you have different tax benefits and things like that with real estate. But if you weren't collecting rent, the price of real estate can go up and down and be a little bit volatile. Now, if you're collecting rents, that yield offsets price fluctuations in the asset value. Hence, when Bitcoin dropped 77% in this last little bear market here, we only corrected 17%, which means we outpaced the market by over 50% with the ugly unicorn fund. So that's incredible results, and I think investors were really happy about that. Now, one thing too, a lot of people, I got a message actually from a president of a very large company last night, and we've been friends for over a decade, and he holds a lot, 7 figures plus in crypto on Coinbase and hard wallets. And I did a wallet audit for him the other day, and he had open contracts. And why he was so fearful is, over $5-6 billion of crypto has been hacked out of people's wallets, from Coinbase to even hard wallets like Ledgers and Trezors, because people think they're safe, and they're not always safe. The reason why is on Coinbase, people can hack your email, they can hack your phone with a SIM hack, and they can steal a lot of your money if they can get into your account. And if you read the terms of service with most of these centralized exchanges, the terms of service says they're not responsible for your negligence. And so what's crazy is I've had so many messages in the last 6 months about people having millions of dollars of stuff being stolen. So crazy. And thank you, Chasing Utah. My daughter is doing quite well. She was up after her surgery like 2 in the morning because a lot of pain and stuff. But I'm going to be checking in on her today and visiting her. Okay, back to the hedge fund and crypto. So billions of dollars have been hacked, and hard wallets have been hacked too. So for example, one of my friends who has hundreds of millions of dollars in crypto had a bunch of different hard wallets. He thought he had wallet segmentation, but he had hundreds of open approvals from working on decentralized DeFi projects, buying NFTs, all that kind of stuff. And he woke up in the morning one day and had a crazy amount of crypto just gone. And you're talking, these are wallets he hasn't touched for a year or two. That's because when you interact with a lot of projects, the default setting is infinite withdrawal. And even if you have a hard wallet, you don't have to validate on the hard wallet the transaction if that contract is open. So token revocation is important. I'm going to explain to you how we do security for our investors. For the Ugly Unicorn Crypto Fund, we validate on multiple devices at different geolocations. We also use biometric authentication, as well as an encryption hardware key, which is so powerful, some government agencies use that. Now we validate off of the blockchain on private server networks placed all across the world, and then it hits the blockchain. Once the contract is approved and the transaction happens, we have a revocation SOP, which closes the contract window. This is highly important as not to get hacked. And hacking, can happen to anybody, but the more layers of security that you have, the less chance you have of being hacked. One thing that's important too for home gamers is don't do your crypto trades on your phone. That's just really a bad idea. Have a segmented device. I would also use a VPN, something like NordVPN, which is really good. That will help keep things more secure. Use a cellular connection and never use public Wi-Fi because your Wi-Fi can be easily hacked. Very difficult to hack a private cellular connection under an encrypted protocol. So a VPN, like NordVPN or whatever you choose to use. So that's really, really important. Biometric security is also important combined with a hardware key as well. And so the more layers of the security you have, the better. Now, why that one investor I told you who had 7 figures in personal crypto decided last night late, he texted me and he said, dude, I think I missed the bull run. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, well, Bitcoin is tapped all-time highs almost, man. It's crazy. And I said, dude, if you're just buying Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff like that, though, you're kind of crazy because mid-cap and small-cap projects are very, very important. And a lot of let's come back to you. A lot of those are 80% off all-time highs. And so if you're buying stuff at all-time highs, it still could go up, it could go down, but mid-cap and small-cap projects are huge. This is how I metaphor it to stocks. Again, I've bought a lot of stocks and I've talked about some of the ecosystems that I like and some of the companies that maybe you want to look into, but just for example, if Apple has run up really big or Nvidia has run up really big, any of those type of companies, I'm not saying buy those, not financial advice, but some of the smaller cap stocks and mid caps that are part of the recipe of their ecosystem are usually the next to take that rise. And this is why when you saw Bitcoin take a significant rise and then drop in one day, you saw a lot of deployment going into mid and small caps. And again, that's barely even been touched. One area I really like is artificial intelligence combined with blockchain. I think it's a huge thing. Now, let's talk about more security. Have you ever heard of Bernie Madoff? Bernie Madoff stole billions of dollars from investors, and a lot of people trusted him. But there's a thing called a third-party administrator. And we use a third-party administrator that manages over 2,000 hedge funds. And basically all transactions are validated and audited. This is really, really important to have that transaction tracking because if nobody is watching, there's a lot of scams out there, and you'll see a lot of private, get into my crypto project, bro, type of stuff. And they don't have any third-party administration. When we take it a step further at the Ugly Unicorn is we use another fourth-party audit, which is an accounting firm, which double-checks all the books, highly critical. And so if you have third and fourth-party validation, your chances of not getting scammed are a lot greater and to be safe and protected. So Bernie Madoff, you can Google kind of what happened there if you're not old enough to remember. Now, most projects, again, don't use these security measures. I look at thousands of crypto projects, and the majority of them don't have good third-party or fourth-party validation, admin, and audits. So highly critical. Bridger and I have greatly increased our personal investment in this last year, not only into our fund, the Ugly Unicorn, but also into many different projects that have to do with blockchain. So a lot of times you can judge if a project's good by if the founders are actually investing in their own project. I went to this angel investing group, and there was this nice gentleman pitching his real estate project. And I asked one question: how much money are you investing in your own project, right? And the guy was like, well, none. So how are you supposed to get investors interested in your project if you're not investing your own money into that project? I want you to think about that. And so I like to invest a lot into any project that I'm raising money for, whether it's a computer company or anything like that. And by the way, for my computer companies that I started 32 years ago, they're still active, Zydex, PC laptops. I haven't taken any outside investor money, haven't needed it. Also, in all my real estate projects, haven't taken a penny of outside investor money, not one of my real estate projects. But with crypto, to scale, we do need to raise investor money into the Ugly Unicorn Crypto Hedge Fund to take advantage of the market. So we have a little of economies of scale with this. So that's how the Ugly Unicorn Fund works. Let's see. If you are an accredited investor and you can deploy $100,000 plus, our minimum is normally $250,000. Sometimes we have some family and friend spots open up. If we have a family or friend that committed, but they're no longer accredited because they did some home gaming trading and lost their money on some Dogecoin thing type of thing. Now, I'm not saying that meme coins are all bad. There's a lot of money that can be made. There's a lot of money that can be lost, as you've seen from charts wildly swinging up and down. Rich today, broke tomorrow if meme coins are your trading thing. And one thing at the Ugly Unicorn Fund is we are not day traders. We are long-term and yield-based. The yield, again, like I told you, offsets volatility, and risk mitigation is really the big thesis of our fund, because anybody can make money when it's going up, but when it goes down, it's like falling off a cliff. So if we can protect our investors on the way down and enjoy the way up, you kind of get the best of both worlds there, right? All right, so if you're a home gamer, an important thing, make sure you get your security protocols correct. I've mentioned in this video a few action items you can do. VPN, segregated wallets. You can also use security biometric keys, encryption keys. You never want to use your cell phone for 2FA authentication. You don't want to get on public Wi-Fi. That's just a small handful of security measures. You probably can't afford offline servers to do your geographic multi-device authentication, because that would cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and hiring a whole team. So not affordable for home gamers. Centralized exchanges. Okay, if you're looking at crypto.com or Coinbase and those kind of things, you're going to have to probably use those for on-ramps. What I mean by that is bringing in cash into the blockchain, but I would never store large amounts of money on those exchanges because you will get robbed. Now, one last thing with a hard wallet, if you're using a ledger, don't use their recovery option, because then your keys are in someone else's hands. It's really scary. And you really want to understand how to audit for contract approvals and revocations. I know this is crazy. If you just want to save time, we're here for you at the Ugly Unicorn Crypto Hedge Fund if you're an accredited investor. So direct message me if that interests you. We're a little bit over 70% full, so we'll probably be full here in the next few months. And then we're launching Fund 2. But for Fund 2, you'll have to be a qualified investor, meaning a $5 million net worth. So a lot of people won't be able to get into that. So now's a great time to get into our accredited investor fund, the Ugly Unicorn Crypto Hedge Fund 1. That's the one. Now, if you found this helpful, please share this video on your social media so we can educate other people. And if you have some questions or anything like that, comment below. Save this video and share this video. And you guys, this is crazy because this market is just beginning with all the crazy stuff like the halving coming up, the Bitcoin code update, the Ethereum code update. There are so many compelling reasons of why I think it's going to be an interesting 24 to 36 months. All right, guys, signing off. I'm going to go check on my daughter now. I appreciate you guys.